So good afternoon. So here it is, 4 o'clock. Missed yesterday because super busy. Couldn't even take a minute. But let's talk about wheat and let's talk about it from a couple of directions. One is this whole GMO, not GMO, does it really matter? Big deal. Here is what I understand about GMOs, and then we'll talk about kind of the effect of some things. Is that so? The thing about genetic modification, and I don't know right now, like what number they're on, but several years ago they were on like the 12th genetic modification in the last 20-25 years. And wheat originally, as we remember, was as high as an elephant's eye, wasn't it? And also, wheat had, I think it's like 14 chromosomes. That's how many chromosomes were in wheat. With each genetic modification, in order to make it more pest resistant and weed resistant, they're becoming more and more chromosomes. So I had heard at one point, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it's something like this, is that wheat is now been genetically modified to where there's like 47 chromosomes. So it's not about, looking at whether we should eat GMO or not GMO wheat is not just about looking that, oh, it charged more for non-GMO, but also because our bodies don't recognize the high number of chromosomes in some of these genetically modified products. So because that's true, what's happening is that we are getting sensitivities, reactions, and symptoms. So let me tell you a little story. I'll tell you a little story. Is that I had a client, and this was years ago. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I had this client come in, and he came in, and his complaint was left shoulder, left neck pain, left shoulder and neck pain. So I was like, every, time I saw him, I'd get the pain out of his shoulder and his neck, and I do it and I do it. And every time he came in, same thing, it came right back, came right back. And then finally figured out that his stomach was, which is on your left hand side, just at the sort of bottom of your rib cage, and your spleen is on the left hand side, just sort of in the middle of the rib cage there. And what had happened is that I saw is that he became so sensitive to eating wheat that each time he ate it, his stomach would get distended, and the spleen, because it's part of your immune organs, the spleen would start running, making white blood cells because it's telling the body the inflammation from all the wheat he was eating, because he ate it at every meal, the inflammation from the wheat was creating the spleen to continue to overwork, and the stomach and the spleen created left shoulder and left neck pain. Now, it wasn't until I actually said, you got to go to the doctor and have him check why you're bloating and all of this. And it turned out that he had become so sensitive to wheat. So the whole issue of GMO and non-GMO, it's actually really important to understand that your symptoms may be things like a headache, or your symptoms may be things like aching in your joints. There's a lot of things that come out of the inflammatory processes that are happening. So don't forget, like I said in the beginning, I don't know how many chromosomes are now in wheat. What I do know is wheat that used to be 5 or 6 feet high or whatever it was is now 12 inches big and just filled with buds on it. And it is forcing, this is what's happening, is these GMOs are forcing this kind of plant to actually grow. So just want to say with you guys that, you know, when you can choose to do it, I would choose not to do it, because these genetic modifications are actually creating lots of body symptoms. But the problem oftentimes becomes, you don't know the body symptoms are actually coming from an internal inflammatory reaction. Okay, so I took more than a minute here, but you guys have a great day, and maybe I'll see you Saturday, 1:30 at my school for my presentation. Hey, thanks.